Amorim must go. He's Amorim out, people. Watch this.
Win the Europa, lose the Europa. He's got to go, bro. He's got to go, bro. And Chastity too. Yes. Win the Europa, lose the Europa. Someone's head has to get chopped off. Manchester United
I'll get to that bridge when I get there.
Nah.
Months, I've been saying, hey, man.
Win or lose.
Fat man, out the door, please.
Win or lose. Sir Jim. Boss calls. Someone's 70. Damn. 17th. I'm Man United. No. Real Madrid would have sacked him 5 times over. Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Milan, Inter, whoever. You haven't seen a giant football club in the modern era, 30 years, let's say, in the last 30 years, be this bad. Them teams went to the Serie B and that because of cheating.
Yeah.
But you haven't seen through performances on the pitch. There's never been a club that this big that's been this bad. Never. And I'm sorry. I know you can say it's Ten Hag's players, blah, blah, blah. Win me the Europa. Thank you very much, Amorim. Honestly, I like him. But someone has to pay. And I'm sorry, it's him. I'm sorry.
Right, Culture Cam's putting his neck on the line there. Win or lose, Amorim has to go. 6 wins out of 25. Listen, Matisse.
Listen.
But he's literally come out and said it.
No, but this is not good enough, Culture Cams. Culture Cams, this is not good enough. In 2023, you tweeted to Chelsea fans that we were the worst Big Six team in history. And that if we were a real big club, there would be breaking news every hour and much more scrutiny. I have responded to said tweet multiple times in the last 12 months, and you are yet to respond. We are everywhere on your case, and you are yet to apologize. Because you are now, and we didn't have the 40 points at the time, 32 games gone. 36 games gone, and they still don't have the 40 points. This is Manchester United. And I'm sorry to say, it's not being spoken about enough. Manchester United, forget Tottenham for a second. Manchester United are not getting enough criticism. They're not getting enough scrutiny publicly. It's only Roy Keane that seems to have some standards. The rest of the pundits, we're in the Europa League final. I'm seeing Saeed in the car park, generational car park scenes, Man United fans everywhere, doing up a madness. Manchester United? This is the same Manchester United that are sitting, 16th in the table? 39 points? It's not good enough. It's not good enough. We need more.
And they were actually 4 points off the top 4 when Amorim took over, and they haven't scored an open play goal in the league at Old Trafford since March. And they obviously lost 2-0 at home to West Ham this weekend. What we can't do is discredit that big away performance from West Ham. I think you've got to give them credit. They haven't won there since Carlos Tevez scored for them against United in 2007. They've done very well.
I mean, I must admit, I'd like to be able to laugh at them, but
don't, Laurie,
West Ham
don't these
beat
two
us as well.
results, they did. Don't these two results, the Spurs and the United game, stink of a team that aren't focusing on this game? They're focusing on, obviously, next week against each other, but...
You say that, but they've been so bad for a long time now, though. People are using that as an excuse. They've got their eyes focused on, in the cup. They've been bad the whole season. I mean, I made the point earlier about Tottenham, and the same applies to Man United. A couple of seasons ago, when Burnley got relegated, they had 17 defeats in that league campaign. They got relegated. United have 17 defeats and still got a couple of games to go. They've been awful. But I would disagree with Culture Cams. From an Arsenal perspective, I want Amorim to stay. Please stay.
That's why we would sing
I'm loving the implosion.
5 more years. That's what we loved.
The Amorim thing, I'm like... I see kind of like two sides of it, because obviously they have been absolutely shocking since he's come in. There is a whole host of issues that are at Manchester United, right? You also have to look at Amorim and think he didn't really want to come in when he came in. He wanted to come in at the end of the season. It's going to take time for him to do what he wants to do in terms of building what he wants to do with the players he wants. Obviously, United are all in on Amorim and all in on the style of play, which means you're going to have to buy players in the summer that fit his system to do that. You then have to be all in on that. You can't then decide you're going to sack him 3 months later, 6 months later. You have to give him time to build. So it's been really poor. United, in terms of the squad, you take Bruno out of that, would they have surpassed 30 points? Probably not. So
would they be going down if Bruno wasn't?
I don't think United would ever be going down, but no. It's look, the settings are scary. Like if there were 3 other teams that put up more of a fight,
even one,
who knows? Like, Spurs is also in that conversation massively. You know, they're 17th, Tottenham.
Such a shame that we'll never know.
We'll never know. But I do think with the Amorim thing, they are unbeaten in Europe, and we'll see what happens. That obviously doesn't paper over anything, because we will see the cracks of United and of Tottenham. But with Amorim, he's got to have more time, because he's only been there 7 months. He's been there 7 months with the same squad, and he's brought in one player in Dorgu. That's it.
Yeah, but the counter is, even if you don't have your own squad, David Moyes, you know, David Moyes, the Wolves manager. Even if you don't have your own squad, even though if you don't have your own players, there's a base level of and you've gone
acceptability.
And you've gone far below that.
Worst season on record.
Far below that now.
Well, one of the things I've noticed about Amorim as well is, I mean, you could say he's being honest, but some of the things he says about his own club and his own managerial performances, you think, are you erring too much on the negative side?
But then you come from a thing of like, your manager is delusional and says things that are made up. So there's two.
Yeah, I know he's being real. Balance, right? But some of the things he said have been a bit drastic.
There's being honest.
It's a drastic situation.
I do feel like Ten Hag, they wouldn't be this bad if they would have kept Ten Hag and they would have just saw what the season was.
It's almost impossible to be as bad as this.
It's impossible, because you know, last season we're talking about finishing 8th, which was like a travesty.
It can.
But look, he could still walk away with having a trophy, and we'll see. If he doesn't, then obviously we need to. He's still going to be there next year, because they're all in on him. They can't sack him at this point.
And he says he's embarrassed by the situation. Danny Murphy on Match of the Day last night criticised this constant negativity. Yeah. He says they're not scared of losing. He says he hates looking at the table at the minute. You know,
sometimes the press conferences do err on the side of negativity, I must admit. I mean, listen, I don't have a problem with managers being honest, and indeed I criticise my own manager for not being honest when we lost to PSG.
Yeah.
I think it's a case of getting the balance right. As I said, it's too much emphasis on the negative. If you're a Man United fan, you're looking at the manager to provide you with some hope and some confidence, some optimism going forward. Instead, all he's doing now is the worst this, is the worst that, I should be sacked. You know what I mean? You think to yourself, well, how are you going to get a rise out of the players when you're talking like this publicly? Mm-hmm. What are you saying to them in the dressing room?
I just feel like he's bypassed the players at this point, and he's looking at the board and he's saying, You don't, and this is if you're not gutting out this squad in the summer and you're not making wholesale changes, not 2 or 3, we're talking 6, 7, 8, 9. If you're not making almost a new Man United side next season, forget it.
But how would you like to be working for a company and every time your manager's being asked, he's saying, my employees are crap? How does that make you feel? Okay, fine, but how does that? You think you're going to get the best out of them by saying that publicly?
But then the argument is that he's getting the best out of them in Europe.
You don't like it? Get out.
I think
that's very easy to say.
Like it,
it's true. You know what? Can I just one second? I'm going to just reply to what you just said. They're unbeaten in Europe. The problem is that they can turn it on for Europe, but they can't do it in the league. That's the same with Tottenham. That's the disparity. He's getting a tune out of them in Europe, or maybe that's the players knowing what's at stake and knowing how to go and win a trophy. In a United standpoint, they've done it before. They still did it last season. Even when they weren't performing in the league, they still managed to go and win a cup, even in their worst periods.
If you're talking about working for a company, this is equivalent of working for a company and you've not hit any of your targets for the last 6 months, and the company could go bankrupt. There's not going to be any positivity
but what I'm saying is, do you really think you're going to get the best out of your employees by constantly telling the whole world that they're crap?
They're not going to be employees for long.
No.
That's the whole point.
They're off.
Yeah, neither might he.
Maybe everybody's going to go.
Maybe, but the longevity is more likely that he's going to be there next season.
That's my point. He's bypassed the players. He's not trying to get the best out of the players, I don't think, on a weekly basis in terms of the Premier League. Obviously, in the Europa League, that motivation takes care of itself. He wants new players.
Yeah.
And the players know he wants new players.
And he's openly saying, we're gutting out the squad. You better give me some new players. And if you don't, you will sack me, is what he's saying. Yeah. So
those players know they're not part of his plan.
Do we have a message for Flex on another defeat? Seeing as he's not here?
All I have to say to Flex is don't not win that Europa. Because there's one thing not winning the Europa. Then there's another thing finishing 16th, less than 40 points.
I would love it.
And then there's another thing losing to Tottenham in the final.
Oh my God.
Hey!
It has to happen.
You will be screwed.
It has to happen,
It will be a long day.
You have to win this final.
Listen.
Man United under so much pressure to win this final. It's crazy.
I'm telling you have to win
it. We are mud siblings. That's my brother. That is my
but you've got to defeat him there, man.
Flex has been kind of coasting, I've noticed. We're going to win the Europa League. We're going to win the Europa League. Premier League, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just
where does he get that confidence from?
I don't know where his confidence is coming from.
Because they're unbeaten in Europe.
No, but Tottenham have beaten them 3 times.
I know, but
that's what I'm saying.
When it matters.
His team, when it matters,
so
they've got the mentality.
we actually have never cooked Flex properly.
No.
But we will.
Surely,
we will.
Surely, like, as a collective, we all want to cook Flex a lot more than we want to cook me.
No,
I get cooked all the time.
I'd say equal.
No, it's not equal.
You're both really shit, though.
Yeah, we are both really shit. At least I know we're really shit, and I've given up caring.
You know what?
I've given up letting it affect me.
Or you can eat buffet.
Or you can eat Chelsea.
I'll have both.
We'll be there.
2 plates. I wish I could eat
3 plates.
One of us has to win it. So one of us is going to not.
Do you want
be
barbecue
getting cooked.
ribs or do you want a burger? I'll
have
have both.